All right, guys. So today, what did I do? What did I do? We are going to start 303. 303 is about support services. So remember that support services were the people that deal with your environment, make the environment conducive to healing and to good patient care. This is one of those where the questions should be obvious, but they, instead of asking you questions that matter, ask questions about like, what category did this fall under? I'm going to do my best to ignore most of the stupid questions since I have the ability to do that this year. One of the only silver linings that's come from the apocalypse is I get to make your questions now. But I will teach you a little bit about how they wanted it taught as well. So let's go ahead and get started. 303 support services. All right, so support services, and this is a huge one. Create a therapeutic environment. And the reason that we do that, the reason that we do everything, literally always the correct answer will be to provide the best patient care possible. So we don't do a therapeutic environment because it looks good. We don't do it because this is the cheapest stuff we could find at IKEA. We do it because we want to always provide the best patient care possible. And that will almost never be the wrong answer, providing the best patient care possible. The second thing that falls under support services is develop and implement all those things, healthcare administration rules, quality control, compliance regulations. The reason that support services is so weird is because it goes from everything from the CEO, like the leader, head boss over everything, because that's who does number two, all the way down to like the janitor, because that's who would do number one. So there's just so many variations in jobs that fall under support services. So these first two are the only that we're going to go over today. The next three things they do: a clean and safe environment, managing all the resources, and maintaining an aesthetic environment, aesthetic meaning pretty, we will go over in subsequent PowerPoints and following lectures. So just those first two today. So back to, they create a therapeutic environment to provide patient care. Again, everything is for the best patient care possible. So, well, what is therapeutic? An environment is therapeutic in the healthcare setting when it, number one, supports clinical excellence in treating the physical body, but also it treats your psychosocial and your spiritual needs. And not only the psychosocial and spiritual needs of the patient, but those of the family and the staff. You don't want to, I mean, hospitals are depressing no matter what we do, but you definitely don't want to have black walls and pictures of dead animals around. Like you want to do things to lift people's mood, to lift their emotional and their spiritual needs, and not just the patient, but everyone. So, also, we do the therapeutic environment so that it has measurable positive effects. Measurable means we can collect data on it. It's not just like yeah, seems like this is doing good things. We can collect quantifiable and qualifiable data to support that. And the positive effect would be on the clinical outcome, so length of stay, rate of infection, things like that, and also staff effectiveness. So how motivated are the staff? How much are they being able to accomplish in a given work shift? So that was number two. Now the number two function was the developing and implementing, and then those three things. So some sort of healthcare administration, measuring and improving quality, and then monitoring for compliance. We're going to go through these three individually. So the first one was providing for healthcare administration. You have to have a goal, and every business basically, but hospitals are no exception, have some sort of goal and different objectives for the business. And then they achieve those by writing and following different policies and procedures. And you have to coordinate between different departments, different agencies, different contractors. So whether that's like Maine and Pineville talking, or whether they're coordinating with outside agencies like LabCorp when they get their labs tested, and contractors being people that they hire to come in and fix things. New services as needed. So if your population changes, then you might have to change the type of offerings that you have in your community. And oh my gosh, employee recognition. I loved this about nursing and about healthcare in general. They're really good at recognizing their workers when they do a good job or go above and beyond. I know at CMC, which we now call Atrium, they have a program called WOW cards that patients can fill out for any sort of provider that's gone above and beyond, anyone from, the head surgeon all the way to the CNA or the janitor. And when you get those cards back as the employee, if they named you, and not only do they give you the card that says you did a great job, but it comes with something. So like a free movie ticket or $5 off in the cafeteria, free car wash, something like that. And that type of recognition is really powerful. Employee turnover is decreased and employee satisfaction is increased when they feel like they're being rewarded for doing a good job. All right, so the next one was measure and improve quality. So we monitor customer satisfaction. Cost effectiveness and alternative methods is good. I mean, we want to give really good care at the lowest possible cost, but cheaper isn't always going to be better. Sometimes I remember in the hospital, we started buying cheaper cups and then the cups would break. So we had to use 2 cups. And so it actually wasn't saving us money because everyone was having to use 2 cups because they were so crappy. Cost analysis and things like that is important. Quality is always going to have to be maintained, quality management. So customer satisfaction is the big one from this that I want you to cue into. So healthcare organizations have to collect patient satisfaction data. And we do that a couple different ways. We send out emails and surveys, and a lot of times we have multiple different people call the patient. So when I worked on the cath lab, not only did a nurse have to call the patient several days after they were discharged and do a customer satisfaction call follow-up, but we also had to hire a third-party customer satisfaction caller. So we had to hire another company that we could not influence or have any say over or fudge the answers whatsoever. So when I was calling the patients, I would say, I'm giving you this call, and then you're probably going to get another call from another party to make sure that, we're being honest in the feedback that we're getting. And the reason that we had to put so many man hours and so many dollars into this is because satisfaction surveys are required to be accredited. So remember me telling you about Joint Commission or JCO? I still shudder when I hear. Your customer satisfaction ratings are a part of JCO, Joint Commission, coming in and accrediting you. And remember, if you're not accredited, you can't accept Medicare and you can't accept Medicaid. And if you can't get those health insurance, Medicare and Medicaid payments, you shut down. There's no way that a hospital in America can exist without accepting Medicare and Medicaid. So you have to get customer satisfaction ratings and ensure that you're giving quality care because the customers are satisfied. Because if you don't, JCO shuts you down and then you go out of business. But also the second one is really big. We do want to call and make sure that they were satisfied with the care they received because we care that they got quality care, and because that's a wonderful way for us to figure out where the holes in our care are. So, if 30 people said, they had a problem at this stage in their stay, well, there's a problem with that stage, there's a problem with that room or with that process, and we need to look at it and make it better. The last thing that fell under that second job was monitoring compliance. That's making sure that everyone's obeying the rules, that everyone's following the code of ethics and the legal procedural codes that we're supposed to follow. Everyone's throwing the hazardous materials away correctly so that the EPA and OSHA is not getting pissed off, that the building itself is safe and all that type of stuff. Every company, as far as I know, because even East Lincoln has to have it, but for sure, every hospital has to have an emergency preparedness plan. So, like, what are you going to do if this happens? What are you going to do if that happens? Where are all the doctors going to go? Where are we going to set up triage? Where are we going to set up treatment? Where, if the fire department has to come in, where are they going to access? All that type of stuff has to be set up and then monitored for compliance. Obviously, we inspect buildings and grounds and blah, blah, blah. So the first 3 of these, I want you to kind of think about, like, what do you think a therapeutic environment is? What do you think the role of the healthcare administrator is? So that would be like the CEO, and it's going to be, monitoring all the stuff that we talked about. Number 3, customer satisfaction is important because, remember, there were 2 reasons. Number 1, you have to show customer satisfaction to get accredited. So Joint Commission and those types of places that care about the patients aren't going to accredit you if you don't have customer satisfaction ratings that are good enough, but also because we do just want to make sure that we're giving good quality care. Number 4, why are customer surveys important? Well, that goes back to number 3. That's because customer surveys are how we show customer satisfaction, and we have to have customer satisfaction to get accredited and to make sure we're giving good care. And then number 5, what do you think the main goal of support services managers would be? You can never go wrong with giving good, safe patient care. All right, guys, that's it for today. Heart you, miss you. Let me know if you need anything. Bye. Bye.